designing yacht blazers, which will soon be available on the market for all of us to purchase. So these blazers are shown on page 51 of our conference brochure, so you can make reference to them. And I believe that this will help us to represent our identity as young adults with dignity and also, most importantly, in comfort throughout the seasons and the weather conditions we have in Europe. In conclusion, as we proceed with this conference, let us remember three things. So the first is that we use this opportunity to be proud of our heritage as members of YAF and also the Presbyterian Church of Ghana. That we use this opportunity to also persist in missions and not relax within our comforts. And also, we get inspired by our hope and not defeated by the many challenges we face as young adults and also as a church. May God, who has called us into this ministry, sustain and crown our labor with success. Thank you very much, and may God bless you.
Pastor, call for any emotion, President address. So we move for President address.
The President has presented an address, and the President in chair currently, who is acting, is calling for a motion to accept the President's address for further deliberations at the group or workshop level. And everybody is sitting down. And also, it is a consulting answer.
We are trying to understand certain things, that's why. Because we have a different thought about it.
Okay, so President, it's also a forum for us to learn. So pick it up so we can.
Yes, because I am of the view that this is the President's address. So I think we don't need the motions to move because this is addressed to the conference. So we assume his address and we don't need the motions for it.
Okay, good. All right, okay, so this is a process and a procedure. Even I just came from the General Assembly. The whole church's moderator gave an address, and the moderator in chair had to call for a motion for it to be accepted. It is also part of the acceptance of what your leader has done, and it is a formality that we have to go through. So if you go to Presbytery, it is done same. If you go to National, it's done same. Any group that does not do that is a minor, and it must be done. All right. So there must be a motion that when even he presented, it was accepted, and then he said, "I move for the acceptance of the address. This is not a report. This is not a report. This is an address, as presented by the president of the district, and then to be sent to workshop group for." For discussion. Mind you, this is the highest decision-taking body of the conference at the district level, and not the president taking the decision. And so he's presenting to you. So it is the honors then comes on you to accept it or to say no, we don't accept it. And of course, you don't have any basis why you say you don't accept it because an address. So somebody must look for it. So move for it to be accepted.
So yes, I'll move, but you see, I like your last. Yes. Basically, you will come back to you don't have any other thing because this is our address.
My brother, this is what you have to do. Yeah, but I want to go to the national for us. And for example, we vote for you as the national president. You don't go and debate that I presented my address, it is final. It is final for you, but the group must accept it. And that is why we move the motion.
Yes, Reverend, we do understand. But I like your last submission. That's what I wanted to do. So that maybe they can, because once the moderator gives address means
we won't change it. So
on that note, I move for the acceptance of the president. Thank you.
Any second? So all in favor say aye. Aye. Yes, thank you very much.
Yeah, once you go back. This is also part of the heritage. Something like this, then we can debate, and we have one practice where we debate on this matter. Now the thing is that the president is not the final authority when it comes to conference. The moderator is not the final authority when it comes to conference. If you say that you rise up and you say that I move that the address not be accepted. Now the one is in chair will then ask you why you think the address should not be accepted. And by the time you give your reasons, you see that everybody will be looking at you. So you have no option but to accept it. But there have been times if somebody presents a thing and they're correct, the members will say no, this address there. You can't put this address for example, you give us 2-3 lines or 2-3 paragraphs without anything. Somebody can just write and ask of it. And so when you come for a motion for it to be accepted, then the person can say that, no, I don't think this is an full address. President, we beg of you, we'll give you a few minutes. Go prepare a letter and address for us so that it is presented. But this is an address that is which should be accepted.
Okay, thank you very much, Reverend Minister, for this education. I think it's important. Some of these discussions are important because we are all learning, so we take every opportunity to learn. Yes. But I say,
address.
but do you know this operation in the meeting?
They said in this address on my open to me this question you want to say.
Okay, so the procedure is what Papa explained. We read the address, a motion is called for the address to be accepted and sent to the workshop group for discussion. So all the discussions, all the questions will happen at the workshop group. So we will have a group that will discuss it, they will present their findings to us, and then we decide on what to do with the address.
Thank you.
Okay, so we proceed and call the acting secretary, our financial secretary, to present the secretary's report to the conference.
Okay, the secretary's report can be found in page 14 of the brochure. From page 14 to 22. Yeah, page 14. So I'll call on a motion for the secretary's report to be accepted so that we can, when we go to the workshop group for further deliberations.
So moved by the...
Please. I hope it's not a bother if I come. If it's a bother, tell me now. You are presenting the report on behalf of the secretary. So you take it as read. The secretary's report is so important. So at least in a few minutes, take them to the points by point, at least the headings. Having announced to them that this is the page is found here. I know you are going different. The page is found, what's it, page 9?
Page 14.
Yes, so page 14, one.
Page 14.
14 to 22.
So, okay, so 14 to 22, which has the executive, the district executive council, and then it continues with statistics. So you are moving them, bringing their interest into it.
Okay.
And now we do in a few minutes, and then before the president calls for the motion.
Okay, all right, thank you. Okay, so starting from page 14, we have the preamble, the introduction, the administration and human resource management, that is the district executive officers. Then page 15, we have the district executive council members. Then the district profile. Then page 16, we have the reports writing seminar. and the membership growth analysis. Page 17, we have the key results area, church life and nature, the district executive council meetings. Page 18, we have the district conference, then the Presbytery Congress. Page 19, we have the National Assembly, the Youth Week celebration. Page 20, we have the key results areas, that is the mission and evangelism. Page 21, we have the economical and social relations. They have them with the YPG and JY. The same page, we have the notable events. And the last page, which is the page 22, we have the challenges, conclusion, and deliverance.
Okay, so move for the acceptance of the report, and then we take a second.
Okay. Okay, so I move that the Secretary's report will be accepted.
So moved by the acting secretary. Shall we take a second? You are out of order. So the motion has been moved. When the motion is moved, you don't make any comment on the motion until it is seconded. And if we have to debate it, then yes. Any seconder? Yes. Janetta Wankwa seconds the motion. So the Secretary's report is hereby adopted for deliberation at the workshop group. Thank you very much, Acting Secretary. Okay, so now we move to discuss constitutional matters as we do conventionally during our conferences. So we pick a few constitutional issues to discuss. But before we do that, we have the privilege of being joined by the president of the Netherlands-Belgium District Young Adult Fellowship, who would want to say a word or two to us. So, Brother Obed, if you are online, Brother Yamawakawa. Yes, sir.
Yeah, so. It's always a privilege to have the opportunity to be in your presence, and I'm really enjoying your conference, looking at how everyone is engaged in the discussion and partaking in this conference. We will say that God bless all of you for dedicating your time and your resources to be part of the conference. And as your president noted in his address, mission is not an event but a process. And I would like to take the opportunity to congratulate all of you for establishing or in the process of establishing a fellowship on the campus of the University of Hamburg. I think you are doing a very great work. I've been observing from afar and I'm admiring the work that is going on in North Germany. And I would like to encourage all of you that the Europe Presbytery is a very strategic, we are in a very strategic position to make impact in Europe. And to let us all see that we are part of it. The scriptures make us understand that we are all part of the body of Christ, and each part of the body has a purpose. So let us take it upon ourselves that we individually are have a specific function which no other person can perform. So whatever position you are holding, whatever assignment you have been given, take it as if no one else can perform that assignment and do it to the best of your ability. And as the Apostle Paul says that Paul planted, Apollo watered, and God gave the growth. And I believe that if we all do our individual parts, God will definitely give the growth to the Presbyterian Church of Ghana in Europe. I wish you all the best, and I wish you the best of conference. I hope that you come up with a very strong decision, and God being your helper, you'll be able to carry on with whatever that you are going to discuss. And I encourage all of us that we should all do the conference in the manner of respect and decorum for all of us, and let us try to agree with each other. And if there is a need for us to have any dissenting view, let us do it out of respect for each other. And I hope that you have a successful conference. I wish you all the best, and I wish you a successful conference. Thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you very much, Brother President. It's a privilege to have you join us, and we bless God for you, and we bless God for letting you join us. And we take your words very seriously that we've been called with an assignment, so all of us have a duty to accomplish this assignment. Thank you very much once again, and I hope you will stay with us for a little longer.
Yeah, I'm enjoying the conference, and I hope I'm able to stay for some time.
Excellent. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. What we will do is to do our constitutional discussion. So I want to bring to your attention that over the past 2 or so years, the YAF Constitution has undergone rigorous review. So if you check on your name tags, so you have 2 barcodes. So the first one is the barcode for the brochure. So if you scan the first barcode, you get the brochure. And if you scan the second barcode, you will see the newly reviewed Constitution. So this is a very, very comprehensive document which has undergone discussions upon discussions. And by the grace of God, the work has been presented to the National Assembly that was held this month. I just want to bring your attention to 2 things. So we will share the video of the presentation of the committee that worked on the Constitution, but we also want to highlight our own contribution to the development of the new document. So if you check our brochure page, let me fetch this. Yes, so if you check our brochure from page 48, onwards, we also made a contribution. So the Euro Presbytery called for memorandum to be submitted to the Constitution Review Committee. And we made a contribution that the previous constitution, or the constitution that is currently in force, says that has 2 categories of membership. So the first one is that members are active when they come to church, they contribute to the fellowship, blah, blah, blah. But when a member does not do this, does not come to church, does not contribute to the fellowship, and leaders of the church or leaders of the group have have made an attempt to get this person or these people to be part of the fellowship again, and they don't come, after 3 years, their names should be deleted from the fellowship. So this is highly problematic. And I'm always thinking about the agenda of the Presbyterian Church of Ghana, the 2 million agenda. So if you want to reach out to new people, you don't get rid of those who are already in your midst. So that was the premise we came from. So I submitted a memorandum on behalf of the district that the Article 2.8 is highly problematic, and that what we should rather do is to have 2 categories of members. So instead of writing off people and saying, writing to them actually, that hey, you've not been coming to church for 3 years, so you are no more a member of our church, and all of that, that's too harsh. So, 8.2. Yeah. So, we wrote that this is discriminatory, it is not biblical, it is not scriptural, so it is incoherent also with our agenda 2 million, and it also doesn't sit well with digital participation in, contemporary church fellowship and all of that. So we raised all of these arguments to say that we should have 2 categories of membership: active members and inactive members. So active members are the dues paying, the church coming ones, and then when people stop coming to church, they become inactive. They don't come to church, they don't pay their dues. And so once we have a statistic delineating active from inactive members, then we can take a decision to reach out to these inactive members with the hope of bringing them back into our fold, unless they have indicated that they've been transferred to a different church, or they've a different church within the Presby church, or they've left the church entirely. But we still keep pursuing them until we get them back. So by the grace of God, this memorandum was accepted. So this will be part of our new constitution, which has now been finalized. So I will show you.
It has been finalized but not completed yet.
No, that's not been completed. Yeah, it's been finalized. So the next step is to send it to, I think, General Assembly or Council Power. Yes. So that's actually the right terminology. So we've accepted it at our level, at the National Assembly level. So it has to go to the further step of the church. And I think even in the Presbyterian Church, there is a similar clause within our constitution, which is also a bit challenging. So I will show you a video of the presentation made by the committee at the recently held National Assembly, so that we can all take note. I hope you can see from that very, very small screen.
Who are here accept well to present our report to the Assembly. And this report is submitted by the Constitutional Young Adult Fellowship, following a resolution by the National Assembly to review and propose necessary amendments to the fellowship constitution. The review seeks to strengthen the governance, align constitutional provisions with current realities, promote transparency, and ensure spiritual and administrative effectiveness. Other members of the committee are Mr. Bernard Asai, Esquire, Secretary to the committee. He has been with us for the past years. And then Rosemary Boachi Iadam, Esquire, is also a member. She's not here. Elizabeth Osu, Esquire, she's here. Usua, I nearly got it wrong again. Then Brother James Agri. Thank you. But prior to, there was an earlier committee, I also want to acknowledge them. Reverend Edward Asamoah, he was our first convener. Fred Justice J was the secretary. Christian Okonfo, Ado member. Nitaki member. Bernard Asai, yes, I told you he's here. Esquire, then Rosemary Boachiadom, Esquire, she's also part of it. So after the review of the constitution, Mr. President, I want to say that I want to do some, I wouldn't go into details. I'll do a brief thing. We now have 25 articles from the previous 23, with an addition of one schedule, making 4 schedules. So let's look at the mandate and the scope of the committee. The committee was mandated to examine the current year constitution, identify outdated, unclear, or impracticable provisions, solicit views from various stakeholders of the fellowship and the church in general, and then propose amendments that reflects the spiritual, mission, and administrative needs of the fellowship and the church, and also ensure the constitution remains relevant and biblically grounded. Let's look at the methodology. So we use the following approaches. One, stakeholder consultation, where we consulted former and then current national officers. We also have written submissions from individuals and presbyteries. We also have comparative study references to the constitution of the PCG, and then YAF, and then other group of the church constitution. Then we also have the biblical alignment. We ensure that every provision reflects the scriptural principles and the value of the PCG and the YAF. So the committee reviewed, as I've said, almost all the articles of the Constitution, and the areas include objectives of the fellowship, leadership structure, membership and discipline, elections and appointments, finance, conflict resolutions, and etc. So these are some of the things that we did. Now, Mr. President, I want to quickly look at a few of the amendments, that we did. So when you look at objectives, we introduce another objective, that is to nurture the children and the youth of the church into strong and true Presbyterians. We have also looked at the age to correspond with the churches want us to do from 30 to 40. And then one thorny issue that you were discussing, that we deem it fit to take away the affiliation from the constitution at all. So that one too has been taken away. Then loss of membership. You realize that we have loss of membership. We've also taken it away, because we as IAF cannot take somebody away from the church. Rather, we've replaced it with loss of benefits. Loss of benefits. So these are some of the changes that has come. Then another one was also to align ourselves with the church governance. We've made the organizing secretary, the financial secretary, and then the treasurer's role, same as the financial secretary, just to align ourselves with the church governance so that the committee will help the financial secretary, and also because the church, the fellowship needs to bank all the money. So the committee in place, they will be able to support the financial secretary. Then also this National Assembly decision to also add the Women's Commissioner. One day we are reviewing the constitution, so we've also added the Women Commissioner to the various courts of the fellowship. Yes, so these are basically, and then a major one too on elections. You realize that the General Assembly brought an election guidelines, so we've also included it in the Constitution. So, Mr. President, in brief, these are some of the things that we'll be able to do, but then if you take the document, it has been highlighted well. So I want to end here so that if in case any of my members want to add something, but before I do that, then we've also the YAF post, giving it a constitutional backing. We're giving the YAF post a constitutional backing. So I will now allow the president so that he can call for a motion so that we can adopt the report so that
So basically, the report was adopted, and now I just wait the necessary council to review and approve.
Information.
Okay, so this was by way of presentation of the various amended clauses in the Constitution. But this was a very brief presentation. If you want to know exactly the content and all the changes that have been made, you consult the document which is available to you, and all the changes are highlighted in red, so you can be able to differentiate the changes from the articles that remained untouched. You had a question or contribution?
I wanted to know in the article into, like you said, that you use the word we. Who are the we that contributed into the article into? I hope you understand.
No.
You said that we contributed in the amendment of the article into we. I want to know the we. Who are the we?
Okay, so what I remember saying was that I submitted a memorandum on behalf of the district. So we are the district.
So the we is with the...
We are the district, the North Germany district.
North Germany, okay. Yeah,
no, when you are not taking your time, you will understand what I'm saying. So when we meet here, we meet as delegates. Okay, we meet as delegates. So what delegates do is that they pick sentiments from the branches and represent them. But we also meet as trustees. What trustees do is to also use their own understanding of the event to also represent their members. So if I say we, I mean the North Germany district presented this memorandum. Yes.
From the, I can see that age group is highlighted. Is it that there was, they wanted to change this, or there was a move for it to be changed, but it's still the same? I wanted to know about one.
So we had a lengthy discussion on this. So I mean, lots of memoranda came on this issue. So some were arguing that we should extend the YAF age from 30 to 45 instead of 30 to 40. And actually, some even brought, if I remember correctly, a proposal that the minimum age should actually also be lowered to 28. And so, I mean, if you do that, the YPG people will also say that, okay, we want to remain in YPG for some time, so let's increase our maximum age to 35, for example. And Women's Fellowship would also say that, okay, let's reduce it so that we will get, some vibrancy within our fellowship. So it was a very lengthy discussion, but the conclusion was that we maintain the age bracket between 30 and 40. So nothing changed in that regard. Any question? I'm not sure if I'm in a position to answer every question, but let's see if, yes.
So I heard that Women's Commissioner was to be added to something, what does it mean?
So previously, in the current constitution, the position of Women's Commissioner was unelective. It was by appointment, and for that matter was not, if you like, giving a full status of elected officers. Now, what this new constitution does is that it explicitly includes the position of Women's Commissioner as part of the executive committee at all the courts. So from the branch to the district to the presbytery to the national, we would have, the position of Women's Commissioner as an elective position. Okay, any other questions?
And then the other one was on the loss of benefits. And what does that also mean?
So the loss of benefit then is, so you have to marry that with the issue of membership. So currently, what the Constitution says is that you are a member of the fellowship if you are active, you come to church, as I explained before, all of you pay your tithes and blah blah blah. Now, if you don't do all of these and you don't come to church for 3 years, executive and the church should approach you and talk to you. And if after 3 years you still make up your mind that you are not coming to church, there should be an official communication to you that you are no more a member of the fellowship. So the point is that what that means is that you lose your membership and you lose your benefits as well as a member of the fellowship. Now, as it stands now, the new amendment that is being considered or that has been approved takes the issue from two perspectives. So you have active members who are, the good standing members, tithe paying, regular in church, dues paying, and all of that. So they are active members. And if somebody stays at home for 3 years or more, and there's been, the branches have approached this person, the church has approached this person, but this same person still does not want to come to church, they rather lose their benefits as members of the fellowship, but they don't lose their membership. So they will become what we will call inactive members. So they are inactive, we've not thrown them away. We will continue to engage them until we get them back, or until, as I said before, they leave the church, they leave the Presbyterian Church of Ghana entirely, or until, forever we will pursue them until they come back. So this is the difference between active and inactive members. Active members are benefit holding members, inactive members lose their benefit in this respect. Any other questions or contributions? Okay, so we do our standing orders quickly because it's very, very important for orderly meetings. So I'll talk about points of intervention alone, and then you take your time to read the polls, which has been given, as you heard, full constitutional backing. So if you don't have the polls, it is important for all of you to get it as leaders of the various branches in the district. So the first one I want to talk about regarding point of intervention is point of information. So when we meet like this and you want to catch the attention of the chair, you raise a point of information like this. So if you raise a point of information, I know that this is that you want to contribute an information to the motion being discussed. Now, if you do this too like this and you raise it this way, you are raising a point of correction. Maybe there is an erroneous impression being created here, or somebody has said something that is inaccurate, and you want to bring the attention of the chair to that misinformation or even disinformation, you raise a point of correction, so 2 fingers. Now you can also raise a point of order like this when especially the Constitution or a provision of the Constitution is being trampled upon. So when somebody is blatantly out of order, you raise a point of order. And now there is an order of precedence for these points of intervention. So the point of order is precedes or is giving the most precedence when it comes to the points of intervention. So when I see a point of information and I see a point of correction and I see a point of order, I call the point of order first, and then I call the point of information before I call the point of information. But that does not also mean that we use the point of order abusively. So in a meeting like this, maybe you want to make your point, you want to be heard at all costs. So instead of being in the queue by raising a point of information, you will decide to raise a point of order. In that sense, your point of order will be overruled and your intervention will not be captured in the records. Does anybody have a question regarding these points of intervention?
Grandma, you have a question to ask?
Who?
Is that point of information?
Yeah, it's a point of information, yes. Yes. Juliet.
I would want to suggest or plead or us to understand some of these things, especially with the issue of the Constitution. I would plead, say, we try to mix the language, so everybody can understand it. Some people are finding it difficult to understand certain things. Will be quite a question. But all the deliberations I English and it's personal little challenge. And I will plead. Meaning, so when we are reading, definitely we'll be reading in English. But when it comes to the explanation, again, try to say the language.
Thank you very much. Point of information sustained until now. And you're better than please say. Okay. Any question or concern? If that is not the case, I encourage all of you to read our standing orders, which are reproduced in our brochure from page 3 up to page 5. These border on, procedures at meetings, voting, motions, and whatever. So these are very, very important stuff. So we shall take a 5-minute bio break, and just 5 minutes we will gather here and we will go through our preparatory service. Thank you very much. So we reconvene at 11, let's say 11:35. We reconvene at 11:35.
Thank you.